Alright, so in the past 2 weeks, you guys have been looking over these two news stories that our class gave out to you and tried to determine which story is false and which one is true. I'm here to inform you that both of these stories are actually false. Now, the important thing about this assignment is that of all the people surveyed with this story, only one person was able to identify that both these stories were false. So this is going to be a quick lesson on how to identify fake news and the three main things you should focus on when you're reading your news stories, especially with all the important things going on in the world right now. Now, the first aspect of this is connecting the headline to the story. So you'll see the headline of the first story is blacked out at Benjamin's, and that infers that George Washington, as you guys know, blacked out drunk at the Benjamin Williams Tavern and was forced to stay the night. Now, if you were to scroll down to the story and look at all the sources provided, you have two pictures of the tavern. That proves the tavern exists. And if you were to go to the third source as well, you have a guest list, which we fabricated. That does not prove. This only proves that George Washington stayed the night at the tavern. This does not prove that he passed out drunk or had one too many rounds, as the headline stated. Now, the second part of proving and identifying fake news is knowing the sources that are used in the article. So if you were to go down to the second story that we fabricated and look at the second and third document, you notice that there are two different college professors we use as the sources for our documents. Now, if you were to look both these professors up, we stated that James Barrett was professor at the University of Illinois in political science. History, that's my bad. Now, if you were to look that up, that's actually false. We completely falsified what his background is and what he is teaching at the university. He is a real person, but that just proves that just because somebody has a PhD and their name is on an article does not always mean that it's true. Now, the third and most important part of identifying fake news is making sure that all the facts add up to the conclusion that was really connected with the headline. So if you looked at Arthur the Assassin, that story, if you were to look at all three documents, the facts really did not completely add up to show that there was concrete evidence that Chester A. Arthur had a hand in the James A. Garfield assassination. And in the first story, there was no really solid evidence that George Washington did pass out drunk at the tavern. So, now that you guys know those three tips for fake news, hopefully you guys can identify what is true and false in the media today.